So you heard all the buzzwords, but what are the real differences between dynamic mics and condenser mics, and which should you go for? Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome back. Johnny here, and today we're breaking down the differences between dynamic and condenser mics, just giving you some data to perhaps inform your decision as to which one you should get. For the demos, we're going to be using the Rode Procaster you can see down here and the MXL 990 as our condenser microphone. All of that is going into my Roland Octacapture unit. And just a note, before this, I was also testing and using the UR22MK from Steinberg, a cheaper unit that only has 2 channels, and so the results are the same. It's just that this bigger unit has more channels and some more features in it. Alright, so let's start with condenser mics. These are very good at picking up detail and texture in your voice. You know, you can get nice and close and have it capture really what your voice sounds like, and they can be great for that stuff, but you gotta be careful because if you're gonna do something more powerful, you do need to back off a little bit. So if you use it for singing, for example, you're gonna need to get used to closing in and then backing off depending on what the line is gonna be that you're gonna sing. But just for streaming purposes, these can be really good. The only problem with them is that they capture a great deal of stuff around you as well, coming from the back. So the way they typically operate is that they have a cone of action in the front, and then anything that goes around the back is usually picked up way less, right? So we can demonstrate this. Right, the moment you get behind it, you pick up way less stuff. But if you have someone chatting behind you or background noise, that can get picked up very easily with this type of mic. Another thing to note is that impacts are going to be very noticeable with this mic, so you really want to have it on a boom arm stand, something that can absorb the impact on your desk or, you know, hitting your keyboard, anything like that. It also elevates the mic enough so that it's right there in your face, and anything that's happening in your keyboard or with your mouse won't be picked up as much. Another thing to be aware of is the plosives. So you're going to probably need a pop filter for your condenser mic because anything starting with a P will be very harsh and very pronounced and can be almost hurtful to the ears of listeners. So you want to make sure you have a pop filter to go with your mic. One final thing to mention is that most mics will also come with a USB format instead of XLR. What that means is that you won't actually need an external USB audio interface to go into your computer, and instead everything is in your mic. But because everything is packed into this compact unit, the parts will be lower quality than otherwise, and there will be cost reductions and compromises made there. And the other part as well is whenever you want to upgrade your setup, instead of being able to upgrade the separate components, you're basically going to have to toss away this mic and then buy a new unit altogether. So my recommendation is, if you can, go with XLR. You can start with cheap gear and then upgrade the different parts as you move up. So moving on to dynamic mics and a little bit about them. This is the beastly Procaster, which Rode had to design its own stand so that it could support the weight of this damn thing. And look at the size of it too, it's massive. It's a great unit, a bit pricier than the MXL 990. But a little bit about dynamic mics is they're really thought out to capture what's right in front of them. And then the moment you start moving away, you know, it just dies out. Whenever you go to a rock concert, those dudes and dudettes, they're using dynamic mics because they're great at that, right? So they can be nice and close, it picks up your voice nicely, and you can also sing powerfully into it, and you won't have to adjust how close you are to it as much as a condenser mic. But some of the drawbacks, of course, is perhaps it won't capture all of the texture and all of the detail, inflections in your voice. If you're someone who's going to be using this for singing, that can come into play. But for a streamer, a dynamic mic will work great because this range of voice that we do when we speak is really something that a mic like this can just make pop and really make shine. So dynamic mics can absolutely be fantastic for streaming. There are a couple of intricacies with them when it comes to practical stuff. If you're going to plug this into the same USB audio unit that you typically use for a condenser mic, sometimes you will find that they need more gain than a condenser mic. And what can happen is that you find yourself, bumping up the volume on your preamp here in your USB audio interface all the way up, and it gets a little noisy. And even then, it's not enough gain to drive the mic appropriately. Here's the thing, you have a few options. You can, instead of using a USB audio interface, you can use a mixer that has power in it and is, designed to drive a mic like this, a dynamic mic. Or what you can do is you can resort to this unit or something similar. The one I'm using is the Fathead from Triton Audio. And it's a fantastic unit that you just plug into, I can show you right here. So we just plug it on the mic, and this consumes the phantom power coming from your USB audio interface and turns it into a clean gain boost. And it's fantastic. It solved the problem for me and will do it for you as well. So if you already have a USB audio interface and you want to use one of these bad boys, you will probably need something like the Fathead to make it pop. So some takeaways from this then is, if you do have a bit of a noisier background around you or more things going on, your condenser mic would probably pick up all of that stuff. Whereas a dynamic mic might be able to dim down those sounds enough to just not have them be picked up. So it's just one consideration. One more important consideration, though, is how it sounds. So let's take a look at both of them, and you can let me know what you think down below. I'm now testing the MXL 990 condenser mic with a deep voice, and slowly, gradually, we're gonna translate into this excited, high-pitched voice. I never knew you could make popsicles out of rainwater. And now for some plosives testing. Peter Pandem Pops Pizza with pork piñatas. I'm now testing the Rode Procaster dynamic mic, again with a deep voice as I pet my cat over here and then get excited and talk about random stuff that I'm thinking about all day. Now for plosives testing, Peter Panda Pops Pizza with pork. Plenty times. Okay, so I've moved a little bit further away from my mics. Over here I have my condenser mic, and then over here I have my dynamic mic. And you can see that most of what I'm saying is being cut out down to the 40 dB level. And this is something that your noise gate is going to be able to completely cut out. And you won't even be able to hear what I'm saying. By the way, if you like my cat and you want to catch us live on Twitch, you can do so Mondays to Wednesdays at 7 p.m. UTC and Saturdays at 2 p.m. UTC for games, music, singing, improvisation, conversation, all of that good stuff. So here in the end of things, what would be my recommendation to someone going into streaming? Well, if you really want to take it seriously, I would get this mic, the MXL 990. It will set you back for about $90. It does go on sale quite often for about $60, which is unbeatable value, guys. It is the best mic in the range, in my opinion, and you can couple that with the Steinberg UR22 Mark II, which has served me well for years, and it will serve you as well. These two together are an unbeatable package, 10 out of 10. You won't regret it. Those are my thoughts. That's my experience, my opinion. I hope it helped you in some capacity. As always, if it did, let me know down below. It really means a great deal to hear from you. Perhaps consider checking out our live streams on Twitch and telling me about your setup and your thoughts. And as always, thank you for watching. Catch you next time.